Hello Panda Warriors and welcome back to the video. So I am a big animal lover. I think animals are just the greatest things in the world. Sometimes I like animals better than I like people. And based on my comment section on my Patreon page, it sounds like some of you guys have some really awesome animals that you enjoy as well. But today, I am not talking about which one is the best animal. I'm not even talking about which one would make the best pet. I am talking about which animal would win in a fight. If I put these two animals up against each other, who would win? So in honor of March Madness, in honor of the concept of putting things up against each other on a bracket and seeing who would win, we are doing a little bit of a battle of the pets, a battle of the animals today, if you will. But before we jump on into this, I would love for you to press that subscribe button. My goal is to make it 1,000 subscribers and every new friend counts. So if you have not already, please make sure you're hitting subscribe. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to start off and this row, I think, and then I'll make our way over here and we'll kind of go back and forth. So which animal we think would win in a fight. Of course, like I said, this is going to be kind of subjective, depends on what kind of animal, if it's healthy. We're going to assume like it's a healthy animal and I don't know what kind of habitat we're going to assume they're fighting in, but we're just going to make assumptions, okay? So between a walrus and a bat, which animal would win in a fight? These are, again, some of these were taken as some of my Patreon's favorite animals, and some of these I just kind of created from a random animal generator that I popped up. I just picked the first ones that came up. So you'll see maybe some of your favorite animals scattered in there, but you'll also see just some random animals as well. So walrus and bat. If I was to put an walrus and a bat in an arena together, who would win? I am thinking, I mean, a bat's not going to, unless the bat has a rabies or is carrying some sort of disease, which it could be. I feel like more likely than not, the walrus is probably going to take the bat out. Even though the bat can fly, and I feel like a walrus would have a hard time like catching the bat. I feel like once it did get a hold of it, you know what I mean? Like it would be toast. The bat would not survive. So I think this is a pretty, not easy win, but like once the walrus has the bat, I think it's all over for the bat. So I'm going to go with the walrus as the winner of this one. Next up, we have cats versus puffins. I'm not quite sure if this is how March Madness brackets go, but this is what we're going to do. We're just going to kind of go down the line. Right away, puffins, a bird, a flying thing. Cats love to catch flying things from my experience with cats. I do not think a puffin, if it was an enclosed space and the puffin could not fly away from the enclosed space, I think the cat's going to get the puffin. I don't think this puffin is going to live for very long. So I, unfortunately, am going to have to go with the cat. All right, taking a look. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what this kind of animal is. It was one of my ones that were suggested on Patreon. Let me look up this animal. Let me look up this brand new animal to me. Maybe I do know what it is. Oh, it is a very large looking kind of bird. But it is a bird nonetheless. It is a large nocturnal flightless parrot in New Zealand. Well, often owl-like. Okay, here's a picture of it in case maybe I should just pop it up on my screen. Pop up a picture of the bird on my screen right here. I'm not even sure how you'd say it. I want to say cockapoo, maybe, but that's like the name of a dog, isn't it? Maybe it's not. How do I pronounce this? Pronunciation.
Cockapos.
Cockapos. Okay, I think I said that right then. Well, it is a flightless bird, unfortunately. Even though it is a large one, I am going to assume that the dog is probably going to win, unfortunately. Sorry to the cockapoo, or whatever it is. But no, I think a dog very easily, unfortunately, could take down the cockapoo. All right, moving on. We have parrot versus guinea pig. This one's a bit tricky. Like, it depends on, like, the size of a parrot. And the guinea pigs aren't very big. And I know parrots are not, like, usually out for blood. I mean, some of them are. But parrots, I feel like a parrot could probably take... It's got the talons. It's kind of big compared to a guinea pig, you know? I feel like a parrot could probably take a guinea pig out. Even though guinea pigs got those teeth, though. I've never had guinea pigs. My sister has, but I've had hamsters, and they pack quite a bite. But I feel like the parrot could probably, if it wanted to, I feel like the parrot could probably take the guinea pig out just with its talons. So I think I'm gonna go with parrot as to which animal would win that fight. I've just realized that I have parrot written twice. Let me pull up my random animal generator, pick a different one to go against the chinchilla, and it is a rat. Okay, well, they're both mouse adjacent, I guess, but Oh, in a fight, a chinchilla or a rat. I feel like chinchillas are bigger, right? They got more fur to them. They got more fluff. So like I feel like the chinchilla has a chance, but I feel like a rat would be more aggressive. I feel like I love rats. Rats are very smart. Rats are very intelligent. So even though I feel like the chinchilla is definitely gonna be bigger, maybe I don't know. I've never seen the two next to each other. I think a pet chinchilla is gonna be bigger than a rat. I feel like the chinchilla is probably going to lose to the rat. I feel like rats are just too smart. You know what I mean? I feel like rats are too smart and they can be kind of vicious sometimes. So I'm gonna go with a rat, I think. Sorry, little chinchilla. All right, the next one is John's cat specifically. One of my Patreons, John specifically wrote that his cat, well, he actually asked if a picture of his cat counts. So, but let's assume it's John's cat. John's cat versus a sheep. Now, I did take a look at the Instagram post that was listed of John's cat. It is a ragdoll. It is a very pretty ragdoll cat. With that being said, I don't really know. It's very pretty. I don't know if it could take on a sheep, though. That's a really good question. I want to give John's cat the benefit of the doubt. I want to say that it can take on a sheep. So part of me wants to say John's cat, but part of me says if a sheep decided to step on the cat, it might not go over well. But cats can be like really, sheep are they're more chill, I guess. I think if they are both out for blood, I think the cat would win. I really do. Even though the sheep's bigger, maybe if they're both out for blood, it might be a tie between them, honestly. But just to give John's cat the benefit of the doubt, because I don't want it losing to a sheep, I am going to say that John's cat is going to win. I think that in my heart of hearts, I think that is probably true. Okay, now we have a groundhog and a tapir. Tapirs are bigger. Neither of these are like very vicious. You know what I mean? I feel like though, like if a groundhog is like mad, I feel like it would probably win. I don't know. Maybe a tapir could probably step on it if it really wants to. You know what I mean? It's not very big, but I feel like a tapir could probably take a groundhog out. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not quite sure on this one. Here come the girls. I'm not quite sure on this one. I think I'm gonna give it to the tapir, but I don't feel very positive about it. I just don't think they're both very vicious creatures. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the tapir, but that could be wrong on that one. All right, next up, panda versus a horse. I feel like if the panda really wanted to, I feel like if the panda really wanted to, like a panda is like, it's cute, it's cuddly, it's rolling around. I feel like an angry panda probably is pretty fierce, right? Like I know an angry horse is probably pretty fierce too, but I feel like a panda, it's like a bear. I know it doesn't eat meat, but like maybe the panda could take the horse out if they're both really wanted to. I feel like the panda would probably win. Probably. I don't know. How much does a panda weigh versus a horse? Wait, okay, it says 150 to 280. Okay, so that's a pretty big range. How much does the average horse weigh? Oh, average horse weighs 930 pounds. Okay, is that true? Really? Okay, well, horses are way heavier than pandas then. I feel like in that case, I kind of have to give it to the horse, because he's bigger. He's stronger. I don't know. I want to give it to the panda, though. I really do, but I think maybe the horse, I feel like I could step on him, and horses kick really hard. Panda's got a lot of solid mass to him, though. No, I feel like the horse is really going to win, Unfortunately, I would really like the panda to win, but I think the horse, unfortunately, would win. All right, moving back up to the top. I have walrus versus cat. Oh boy, I feel bad for this cat, but I really do feel like if a walrus and a cat both really wanted to attack each other, I feel like the cat would be unfortunately outnumbered. It doesn't have the wingspan that the bat has to fly away if it really needed to, so I feel like the walrus is definitely taking the cat out, unfortunately. Between a dog and a parrot, I feel it feels like the battle of the pets, but I feel like the dog is quite easily taking out the parrot if the parrot is not like, flying around. Probably kind of a similar situation to the Kakapo, whatever it is. I feel like if it can't like escape and like fly away necessarily, and it has like just like a normal like caged in area to fight, I feel like the dog is probably gonna win against the parrot. I don't think the parrot's gonna be able to do much. Moving on, John's cat versus a rat. John's cat, I feel like, is a pretty solid choice for the winner. I don't know John's cat very personally, but I just get the feeling that nope, not John's rat, John's cat. I feel like John's cat would definitely win in that fight. A horse versus a tapir. A horse is just like a really big tapir in some ways, so unfortunately for the tapir, I really do think that the horse would win in that situation. All right, for these last two, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a poll on my Patreon now, and I'm going to let Patreon vote for the final two. Now, they could be silly about it, or they could be serious about it. I don't quite know which one they're going to do, but and I'll leave it for like maybe an hour or so, and then, hello baby. I'll leave it for like an hour or so, and then I will come back. I'll report back to you on who won, and then we'll go from there. All right, I have made the post. I will give it until 6 o'clock, so that's about 40 minutes for me. And then we will talk about who was listed as the best, and then we'll go from there. So, see you guys in a bit. Okay, we are back. So, taking a look, my first poll, that was walrus versus dog. I had 7 people who voted in. I had most of the people, I don't know how many of the 7, but most people said that the walrus would win, and I'm pretty in agreement with that the walrus probably would win against the dog, unfortunately. Poor puppy. But moving on to my other one, this one only 2 people voted in. I mean, it's got 4 minutes left in the poll technically, but it's only 2 people voted, and it was 50-50. So it was nobody. It's like one person voted for horse, 1 person voted for John's cat. So I'm not quite sure what to do with that. I guess since I have 3 more minutes or 2 more minutes left over, I will probably just kind of sit it out and see if anyone else puts a vote in. Otherwise, I guess I'll have to pick for myself if the horse wins or John's cat. If nobody else votes for John's cat, though, I might have to go with the horse, I think, unfortunately. Sorry, John's cat. All right, it is now 6 o'clock, and nobody else has voted, unfortunately. So, sorry, John's cat. I feel like the horse is probably going to take the cat out, unfortunately. So I think the horse would win there. And then, last but not least, horse versus a walrus. That's a really good question. How much I know how much now a horse weighs, apparently, but how much does a walrus weigh? It says the average walrus, oh my gosh, 2,200 pounds, like the average walrus weighs, which is crazy. I feel like horses are just so much more like agile, though, Like, I understand that the walrus has got those tusks. I don't know, how do walrus move very fast? I feel like they're kind of slow on land, But they still, I'm sure, could like really fight you if they tried to. I think I might have to go with the walrus on this one. I feel like, I don't know. This one's really tricky. I feel like maybe the horse would. I don't know. I feel like maybe the horse would win just because it's so agile. But like at the same time, the walrus is just so like it's so much heavier. It's so much heavier. It's got those tusks. But I would love to hear this. You know what? I'm gonna put walrus as my winner, but I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below on who you think would win versus between the horse and the walrus, because I feel like that's a really tricky one. I feel like in some ways, like I could see the horse winning just because it's like, more agile. It can run around. It can kick the walrus maybe, but I don't know. Okay, I would love, like I said, to hear your guys' thoughts on that. But for now, I am going to dub the walrus the winner of this tournament, of this bracket of the which animal would win in a fight. We had a lot of strong contenders, some of them maybe not so much compared to the others, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed me hearing me talk through my thoughts on best animals, which one would win the fight. Like I said, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and comments down in this comment section down below. Please make sure you're leaving this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you, wonderful people, in the next video. All right, bye-bye.